think what's best, he knew that wasn't LeBron, so he didn't throw it as high.
Genius. Are we tossing to Wes?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Wesley Matthews scored 4 points off the bench. He's now speaking with Mike.
Hey, Wesley, just wondered what's your experience been being on the court next to LeBron and AD and sort of seeing the impact they can make on both ends in crunch time and how that measures up with what you've experienced so far through your career.
I mean, obviously, those are two of the most versatile defenders and just players in this game that this game has seen. So basically trying to, find where you fit, make sure you get out the way when it's time to get out the way. But also be ready when it's time to be ready. And, they're two amazing players, and they can definitely make the game easier for everybody on both ends of the court.
Any way you can compare what it's like getting a road win, especially stacking road win in this year as compared to what it was like even last year before the pandemic?
I guess this is more of a playoff type feel where, you're seeing the same team over and over. There's going to be adjustments that are made. There's familiarity, you kind of, it's a psychological game as much as it is a physical game where, you got to get up to play the same team as opposed to, different looks and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's the same kind of road warrior mentality that, we got to go in and we're going to have to fight regardless. We're obviously going to have a target on our backs. But that's where I think, in my opinion, teams are really formed, which is, their play on the road.
Kyle Goodin.
Hey, Wes. I'm sure you're aware that today in Wisconsin, an attorney announced that there's not going to be any charges filed in the shooting of Jacob Blake. Kind of given everything that you went through with the Bucks, that the NBA went through, what do you make of that result?
Nothing that isn't going to be censored. It's disheartening. Truly, it's disheartening just for all the work that everybody put in. All the, just the heartache of the families involved. The kids involved in the car. The city that rallied around it, the community. It's just about right and wrong. But this isn't going to be something that it can't deter, those citizens who are trying to do right, who are trying to fight for equality, who are trying to fight for the right things. It can't deter us. It can't make everybody. We can't lose our heads. We can't start rioting. We can't start. We have to be calculated. We have to continue to keep our foot on the pedal. We have to continue to keep our foot on the gas. And this just furthers, we can vote and do all those things, with the president, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we protect our state and vote in state and understand that what is going on is real. This isn't made up. This isn't a lie. This isn't fabricated. This is lives. These are lives right here. And, it's upsetting as a Wisconsinite. It's upsetting as a human being, that, and justice is injustice, and it's tough, but it can't knock us off the path that we're trying to get to, which is equality and just simply right and wrong, just humanity. That's all it is.
Right, Rob?
Very much so. Just needs to stay healthy.
94-92. LeBron James and AD, they combined for 52 and 21. Dennis Schroeder with 12 and 6 assists. Lakers sweep the road trip. Let's hear from Frank Vogel. We speak with Mike and the media on Zoom.
Hey, Frank, is there anything anticipatory about games staying relatively close, fourth game on the road, and then LeBron and AD kind of carrying things to a victory? Is there anything about that formula, or is that just kind of how things turn out sometimes with the way that they play?
Well, I think, it's in some ways how it turns out. I think we're managing their minutes more early in the game and, willing to, extend them a little bit in the fourth quarter. And, I think that's why you're seeing us separate in the fourth. But, certainly we got to play better than we did tonight, in particular, closing that game once we had that lead. But, overall, 4-0 on a trip, can't be unhappy about that.
Yeah, Frank, and this may be tricky to answer early in the season, but any reflections on what it's like having a 4-game trip in these circumstances versus what you would traditionally, and how you saw that play out in games, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different dynamic being in the same city for as long as we were in San Antonio and now here in Memphis, and it's a different dynamic playing the same team 2 times in a row. And I just want to credit our guys, because it's easy to have a letdown, when you're playing a team that wasn't in the playoffs last year, that is missing key guys. And, credit the Grizzlies for playing 2 really hard games, the Spurs as well. But also credit our guys for, playing through all that stuff and, continue to work to get W's. So it is a little bit different.
Dave?
Frank, kind of following along the same lines of what I asked you pregame, we got word from Allison early on tonight that Nina, your trainer, wasn't going to be with you guys on the bench. And what's it like taking that news real time, disseminating it to your team, and maybe not knowing what the next steps that will follow that come with that will be? Yeah,
that's such is life in the pandemic. They have protocols in place to keep us all safe. And, when something's out of place, something like tonight happens, and we all just got to have a roll with it type of mindset. The good news is Nina has cleared protocols and will be able to travel back with us tonight. So, like I said, it's just part of life in a pandemic is there's going to be people, staff, players, coaches, whatever, at any time, pulled from their responsibilities, and we just have to have a next man up type of mindset.
Kyle?
Hey, Frank. Just LeBron's fadeaway shots, the spin away shots at the end there. I think certain maybe metrics tell us that maybe that's not an efficient shot, but when LeBron takes them, how much confidence do you feel in those situations that it's going to find a way in?
I have a lot of confidence in LeBron James in the fourth quarter. I don't really know any other way to say that. I trust him. We coach him to make the right reads and feel the game out and point out things that may be there that I'm sure he's seeing, but just to make sure he's seeing, and that's why he's great. He finds a way to make those elite superhero types of plays. Our focus is on making sure that we don't need those superhero types of plays, to close games out. But sometimes you do, and it's great to know that he can rise to the occasion the way he did.
A couple more, Dan.
Right, kind of not really a basketball question, but there's a ton going on in the world right now. Obviously, a runoff election in Georgia, the police officers in the Blake shooting not being charged. I'm just curious. LeBron has his hands in so many of these different things. Do you ever marvel at his ability to compartmentalize and perform when obviously, there's a ton of stuff that he's interested in that's going on elsewhere in the world?
Yeah, of course. He's obviously one of the most impressive people I've ever been around. And, I think what you just alluded to is one of the ways that makes him special, his ability to compartmentalize, but also to have, an interest and a care factor, in those other types of things going on in the world. And, to be able to have his mind on some of those things and still perform the way he does, part of what makes him special,
Yeah, question by Dan to Frank Vogel about James Blake officers not being charged, and of course the election runoff going on in Georgia. We've all been following that, and it just kind of puts you back to there's other stuff going on more than